I know I'm actually probably the obstacle from now till lunchtime, so I'll be short. But today I really want to share some of my learnings and journeys around AI and digital transformation. I think those are two buzzwords. You probably heard it either in the media or every day in your day-to-day life. But again, how you actually land your AI initiatives with your overall digital transformation agenda. Instead of from a technology perspective, I like to share a few things from business perspective, because I think although most of folks here are probably your background are data scientists or AI or tech people, but most importantly is how you actually make it happen in your organization. So just a little bit about myself. I'm actually working in different industries in the last 20 years, primarily in FMCG, oil and gas, healthcare, etc. Now in the investment and asset building industry, work in different regions, live in 5 countries in the last 5 years. What I've learned is not just about implementation of IT or managing a large team. I think what I learned is actually how you make the technology personal, how you make sure that technology serves people, and how you make sure technology serves the business. Something about my passion, I'm very passionate about diversity and inclusiveness agenda. In some of the organizations I worked for before, I was actively involved and sponsoring the D&I agenda in Asia Pacific. So I just want to share a little bit more about my background. Very happy to share in the different industry forums, just share my personal learning, and hopefully it has some value to what you do as a technology person. So I want to start it from this. Who recognized these 2 pictures? If you have a teenager boy or girls at home, you probably recognize these 2 photos. Who actually recognize these 2? Raise your hand. Now, if not, let me introduce them one by one. On the left is a lady called Rosie. What is unique about Rosie? You probably recognize she looks a little bit different. She's an AI K-pop, which has been launched very recently. If you look at Instagram, she has more than 780,000 followers. So what does she do? She is already actually promoting a few brands from a commercial perspective. She launched her 2 singles, songs, and she had active connection and chat with probably tons of people on a daily basis. So this is one of live example where AI is used in commercial model. People ask me, hey, how can I use AI? This is one live example where AI add value to the organization. The second group is called Super Kind, which is very, again, I got this most trendy stuff because I have a teenager girl at home. So this is the second K-pop group. And what is unique about this group? Did you recognize something different in this group? Just look at the boy, the handsome boy in the middle. What is different? And he's an AI idol. And his name is Sejin. I think I pronounced right, Sejin. What is unique about him? This is a K-pop model where they nicely combined with human beings and AI together. So when they launched their new album, they launched along with Sejin, who is actually a virtual model. So another live example of how AI is used in the amusement industry. And because both of these AIs, of course, you have other, you would tell me, hey, Miao, what are you talking about? Meta has AI, everybody has AI. But these are live examples where actually metaverse and reality and human beings are connected very nicely to work on the business itself. One of the advantage of AI K-pop is that they don't have any fight, right? If you have fight with them, they don't bully you on social media, do they? They don't. And you don't be worried about, hey, someone told me that, Rosie bullied me on the social media. No, they don't do that. This is a very unique feature of the AI model, AI K-pop model. So AI has been used in many, many businesses. I think people talking about, hey, you need to do your data analytics, you need to do a lot of things. But how AI actually contribute to digital transformation, regardless of which industry you're from, regardless of whether you're from public sector or private sector. But today, 85% of the customer engagement are managed by AI. Barely, you go to any company website, you don't see a bot, right? You see a bot immediately, then have a conversation. Although the conversation most of the time are very clumsy at this stage, it always led to a human conversation through customer service, but still, it adds a lot of value and actually help the companies and organizations to reduce human efforts. 61% of digital marketing. Who is working in marketing department here? Nobody. I think most of people are tech people. But you think about it, 61% of digital marketing initiatives are supported by AI because the marketers need to understand the consumers and customers, analyzing their behaviors. AI and machine learning is the best technology to do this. 80% of the leaders are saying that AI is boosting their productivity and efficiency. In the financial services industry, in a lot of organizations, AI helps them to automate the business processes, therefore reduce human efforts. And then you probably ask me, Miao, yes, human efforts are reduced, but what are human would do? Human will be used for more value-added activities in the organization. And 97% of mobile devices, as you know, are actually enabled by the voice assistant, right? We use that on day-to-day basis. But most interesting enough that whether consumer or customer, they are actually almost 50% of the thing that they want to shop. If I have an AI assistant when I shop on Amazon or any platform, I like to actually shop more because they give me the best recommendation based on the analytics behind the scene. So these are live examples where AI as a technology really driving digital transformation. So what is digital transformation? Digital transformation is actually putting digital first mindset into the business. It's very easy to say, but hard to do. But the live examples I gave is actually every single example help to either generate revenue, contribute the company's top line, or help with the bottom line to reduce the inefficiencies, to make sure the organizations are more productive and efficient. So another example how AI drives digital transformation. So when I look at digital transformation, it's end-to-end. It's not just putting a piecemeal, say, hey, today I implemented 50 bots in the organization, I'm digital transformed. That's not necessarily the case. What is important when you apply any technology, whether AI, machine learning, NLP, or big data, whatever, you need to think about end-to-end, basically connecting the technology implementation with the company objectives. Whether you're from public sector, you want to drive productivity, or you're from private sector, you want to help your customer. Some of the live example, how AI transform customer experience. So I think all of you work here, there is a customer, right? Regardless where they're from. But think about holistically how AI transform customer experience. First of all, you need to understand who is your customer. It's very easy to see, but sometimes complicated than just identify who is your customer. Secondly is how you engage, how your organization is engaging with your customer, through which channel, whether it is online, offline, or digital channel. The third one is what type of product and services your company offer. You probably offer manufactured product, or you may offer services. And when you engage with those customers, think about how AI can make customers' life easier. So that's a core around using AI for transformation. And most importantly, AI help, as I mentioned, help prediction of the customer behaviors. When you accumulate more and more data through that conversation, you understand your customer more, including their behaviors, including their trend, so that every time AI is used in that conversation, digital conversation, it gives much better recommendation. Likely, the customer would like to buy your product and services more and more. So think about it holistically. That's how actually AI is driving value in the whole digital transformation. I just used one example on how AI transform the whole customer experiences. Once the customer experience is better, customer is willing to buy more product and services. That's how you, as a technology person, contribute to the objective of the organization. So this is, then people will say, hey, you talk about customer experience, so what? What are the other things AI play in the whole digital transformation journey as an enterprise? I just gave you a few examples here. Think about the whole company. Take example as for manufacturing company or the whole value chain. There are a few areas where AI can make tremendous difference. During COVID, in the last 2 years, many companies are struggling. Some of them struggling around, hey, I don't have money to invest in technology. But some of companies are actually struggling about the changing of the consumer behaviors. Think about, we run out of stock 2 years ago on toilet paper, right? We run out of stock on instant noodle in this region. We run out of stock, many things. How the company adjust their supply chain to actually react to the changing behavior of the consumer and customers, it's quite hard, to be honest. If you're a traditional retailer, you actually put your inventory in your warehouse, and your inventory is probably disconnected with what customer need and consumer need. AI is used, in this case, AI is used to predict the demand. We call it demand sensing. So by using AI demand sensing, you are able to forecast more accurately, probably at shop level, the inventory prediction, so that you can actually put the best resources to the right location. Therefore, the company can actually reduce their inventory in their warehouses. So that is actually converted into cost savings. The second one I want to call out is really around end-to-end supply chain. Another live example, commodity pricing. We are living in a changing world, right? You see what's happened today, the war and the inflation rate that impact everybody. One example is commodity price. It's very hard to predict commodity price. Yes, many companies need to purchase commodity price because that's their raw material, that's their ingredients for their product. AI, again, is another example using AI technology and machine learning to be able to predict the commodity pricing and decide when is the best time to buy your raw materials or ingredients. Again, you help with your procurement department, you help with your manufacturing department, you help with the whole value chain. The last one is the classic AI use, right? People talking about automation. I think this is almost given as a technology person. So the first one is RPA. Any repetitive, leaned out business processes. For example, you load data in some of financial services company, you load data into your transactional system every day. If it's repetitive, then RPA should be used. Why use human efforts, right? It should be replaced by human efforts. However, it's very important to understand that before you automate the business processes, you have to lean out to implement the best business processes. The biggest disaster of automation is automate a messy business process as a CIO. The second one I want to call out is actually intelligent automation. So the automation has to automate the business process where it makes sense. I think someone talk about the talents. I think if you want to really make automation in a larger scale, either center of excellence or automation center, intelligence center has to be established in the organization to make it scalable. I won't repeat AI use cases in enterprise, but all the way from supply chain, customer engagement, into day-to-day operation, AI has huge use. The key thing is that focus on most important things to drive digital transformation, to see where it adds value to your organization. If your organization is pretty much focused on productivity, then focus using AI to drive productivity on automation itself. If your organization is focusing customer experience, make sure that AI is part of a digital transformation strategy to transform customer experience. If your organization is focusing on supply chain, manufacturing, make sure AI is part of the digital transformation strategy to help your whole end-to-end supply chain. So how to get started? And I think People will say, hey, you talk about huge enterprise, but where to get started? The first one is starting from small. Pilot some initiatives. If AI is used in your customer engagement, building the chatbot first, and then make sure it delivers value to the organization, and run the POC and run an agile approach so that you deliver result quickly. The second one is buy versus build. I would really recommend buy AI technology. We have, I heard we have wonderful technology companies presenting today. So it's important that you buy the technology because they're pretty much more mature. The third one is educate, not just educate your team as technology people, but educate the senior leaders. Don't be scared. Educate your CEO, your CFO, your CXO, the art of possible of AI to make sure they understand where the best use of technology. Therefore, they're willing to support your new initiatives of AI. But the other one I want to call out is AI has to be coexisting with data initiative. None of the AI will work if you have poor quality of data. Even though your data volume is huge, it's not going to add value. So focus on your data initiative and AI together. Last but not least, talents. Building the right talent is important to drive the AI initiative. When I say talents, they're not just pure tech people who sit there doing some initiatives or doing agile sprints. They are people who understand technology, who understand data, but also understand the business. So that's where the value, that's where truly the talent can transform the business, can transform the whole digital experience of the organization. I'll stop here. Hopefully it's value added. Thank you so much.